With Super Wildcard Weekend getting kicked off, there were blowouts, but one particular matchup that we did not expect, and that is the Green Bay Packers marching into AT&T Stadium and beating the Dallas Cowboys. Remarkably, after 6 total matchups, the Green Bay Packers have found a home away from Lambeau Field, which is AT&T Stadium. In these matchups, they have beaten the Dallas Cowboys every single time and now actually have 3 playoff wins at AT&T Stadium. That is more than the entire Dallas Cowboys team combined since that stadium opened up in 2009. To talk about how this team has gotten there, I mean, Jordan Love has gotten hot and the offense has been clicking for the last 3 weeks, and we didn't think that this Dallas defense, as talented as they are, would give up 42 points, not counting the pick 6 in the first half, that they would get steamrolled like this. We knew that they had some deficiencies, but this is a first-year starting quarterback against a pretty experienced team. This Dallas team has now been to 3 consecutive postseasons. They have won the division 2 out of the last 3 years. Highlights so much talent, but yet again, same old Dallas. Year of expectations, but falling short. Dallas now extends its drought of not making the NFC Championship game to 28 years. That is basically my entire existence. When I was probably about 2 months old, that was the last time the Dallas Cowboys got past the NFC Championship round and won a Super Bowl. So since then, I have not really remembered the time when Dallas was an elite team. Despite them having a 12-5 record for their 3rd consecutive year, they just continue to fall flat. I mean, how many times are we going to see this out of this team? Dak Prescott says that he didn't want to wear an NFC East title hat because he had something bigger in mind, and that maybe is just a one and done t-shirt. I don't know, because there's been a lot of talk. There's been players on podcasts, players on different platforms. We were talking about how this team is different, but yet again, they are one and done. And since 1998, this is their 8th one and done playoff appearance, and several of those appearances have been at home where they've been favored. They were 7.5-point favorites coming into this matchup. Since the playoffs have expanded to 7 teams per conference, no 7 seed has beaten a 2 seed, but this is the first time they've done that. This defense, we know that they like to play fast, they play downhill, they're physical. We just didn't see that. I mean, Aaron Jones ran for 3 touchdowns. They were really running the ball up and down the field. There were guys running wide open. Stephon Gilmore, despite him having maybe a decent year, has clearly shown that he doesn't have this foot speed to really compete with these younger, faster receivers that the Green Bay Packers have. There were so many times that he was just a step too slow. He may have the length, he may have the physicality, but if he doesn't get a jam, it is very hard for Stephon Gilmore to maintain pace with younger, quicker receivers. And I mean, let's talk about that Luke Musgrave's touchdown. Simply schemed wide open. Look at the frame here. There is nobody within the vicinity. You have to go to Waco, Texas to find the next defender. There's just that much open space. And for a guy like Dan Quinn that was generating buzz, is he going to get maybe the Seattle job? Is he going to get some other head coaching gig? Even if Mike McCarthy gets fired, maybe Dan Quinn just takes over. Well, it seems that Dallas might have to clean house. That starts off with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, we've talked about it so many times on this platform. Clock management, key situational football, downs and distance, so many times. Lack of discipline, accumulation of penalties. We saw that against the Green Bay Packers, a special teams gaffe, free 15 yards. There's too many things that are going against Dallas's favor, and that starts off with the head coach. Now, that starts off with how he addresses his message to the players, but that also goes back to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, since firing Jimmy Johnson back in 1993, wanted to have his team. Now, he did win another Super Bowl with Barry Switzer, but that, again, was Jimmy Johnson's team. Since then, it's been Jerry's team. He hasn't gotten past the divisional round. He has won regular season games. He's won countless division championships, yes, and extended and built the Dallas Cowboys brand into being one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable franchise in sports. That's wonderful. When it comes down to playoff success, though, he hasn't been there. And this might be the time when he finally says to himself and his son, Stephen Jones, that maybe it's time to bring in some fresh faces, because this isn't working. They've tried it with him doing it, and I think they have some good ideas with drafting and some trades, absolutely. But the thing is, when it comes down to the head coach, Jerry needs a puppet. He wants himself on the football field, but he can't coach, but he needs an extension of that on the field, and that's what Mike McCarthy was. He will have to relinquish some control, whether it's in the GM position, something else. Get some outside help just for some fresh perspective. That would pay huge dividends for the Dallas Cowboys, but we have yet to see that with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. And additionally, we talked about Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy. Dak Prescott, he cannot be extended. He already got the contract in 2021. He was earning about $40 million a year. In 2021, he had $75 million on his payroll because he had a signing bonus. Next year, his cap hit is going to be $59 million. And for a player that has just a 2-5 playoff record, 3 one-and-done postseason appearances, all at home, mind you, that just simply is not enough for what you need as the Dallas Cowboys starter. There's too much talent here. He's had a great regular season. He resurrected what seemed to have been resurrecting his career compared to that start last year. He had the lead in interceptions thrown last season. Well, he cleaned that up, but postseason threw a pick 6 and a bad interception to Jair Alexander. Dak has proven that despite having a loaded deck countless years, that he has not been able to get it done in the playoffs. Now, I don't think there's really an option of any viable options out there to replace him unless Kirk Cousins is able to be healthy for the start of the next season. That's maybe an option, but he is older, and that means your window gets shorter. You traded for Trey Lance in the preseason. I don't think he's there yet to take over the reins, but certainly you cannot warrant extending Dak Prescott. He's shown that he hasn't been able to be the long-term solution, and you're just throwing money away when you have to pay CeeDee Lamb this upcoming offseason because he's going to be qualifying for that 5th-year extension. Then you have Micah Parsons, who you'll have to come and pay because he has All-Pro. He is borderline Defensive Player of the Year. Those things are very clear. Those will be coming up. You have to pay the piper in that regard. There are countless free agents that you either have to bring back, restructure, whatever the case may be. This Dallas team will be drastically different next year because just due to the salary cap purposes, they cannot afford to pay all these stars that they have on this team.